Okay, so in this video, we're going to use trig again. So I'm going to go ahead and write SOHCAHTOA for us. SOHCAHTOA. And we're going to use trig to solve for a missing side of a triangle. So let's, just for instance, let's say we were using cosine. Our formula would be that the cosine of some angle is equal to A over H. So A and H are the sides of the triangle, the side that's adjacent to the angle and the side that is the hypotenuse of the triangle. We need to know how to solve this, whether our variable is on top or on bottom. So we're going to actually look at two different examples. So let's look at one example where this is the side we're solving for, and I know that this is 25. All right, so if I label my triangle, O, A, and H, here's my right angle, so this side is H. 62 is the angle that I'm working with, so if I go straight across from that, that side will be O. And this side that is attached to the angle will be A for adjacent. All right, so in this case, I have A and I have H, and I kind of planned that because we already have cosine set up down here. So if I were to write this out with my numbers plugged in, the cosine of my angle, well, my angle is 62, is equal to, and cosine is A over H. So for us, that's going to be X over 25. All right, whenever I go to solve this, if I want to get X by itself, I need to get rid of this divided by 25. Well, what's the opposite of dividing by 25? You multiply by 25. And so these are probably the easier ones to do, the ones where the X is on the top. You just multiply by whatever's on the bottom, makes that go away, so that you get X by itself. Now, in your calculator, you have to type all of this in. So you do the cosine of 62, you close your parenthesis, and then you do times 25. So the cosine of 62, close parentheses, times 25, I get 11.74. Now, let's take a really quick second to see if that makes any sense. If the hypotenuse is 25, does it make sense for a leg to be 11.7? Sure, just as long as this leg isn't bigger than 25, it's going to make sense. All right, so let's pretend now that we had some different information. So I want to erase some of this stuff. Let's erase this. And let's erase this 25 out of here. We're going to make up some new numbers. All right, let me get a new color. Ooh, pink. Perfect. Okay, let's say this time that we don't know. Gotta get my pen back. We don't know the hypotenuse, but we know that this adjacent side is, let's say, 15. All right, and I want to now solve for H. So again, if I labeled my triangle, this side is still H, this side is still the opposite, and this side is still the adjacent. So I'm still using cosine. The cosine of my angle is 62, is equal to, and cosine is A over H. Well, now we know what A is, and we're solving for H. So now the X is on the bottom. So now we have to think a little bit more about what we're going to do. The long way to do this is to multiply by X on both sides. That gets the X out of the denominator here, brings the X over here, and then you divide by the cosine of 62. But basically what's happening is that these two things are trading places. The cosine of 62 and the X just need to trade spots. So the X comes out here, the 15 stays right where it is, and the cosine of 62 all goes down to the bottom. So to solve this, you just type this into your calculator. 15 divided by cosine of 62, close your parentheses, and I get that X is equal to 31.95. And again, make sure you decide if it makes any sense. If one of the legs is 15, Is it okay for the hypotenuse to be almost 32? Sure, as long as it's bigger than 15, it is going to make sense.